Tonight, the games come home. Their remarkable invention, first conceived some 3 millennia ago. The games return once more to the place of their birth, to the people who would not let them die.
The Olympic Games of the year 2004 is Athens.
All of Greece has waited more than a century for this night. The Olympics are theirs again. It begins here in this very place, the beginning of sport as we know it. Greece gave the world this ancient dream of honor achieved from will and sacrifice. 2,780 years ago, the first Olympians walked to a starting line. 2,780 years ago, the games begin with a sprint exactly as long as our first stadium. And the cheers echo for a millennium, until Greece yields to a Roman Empire, until its ruler orders them closed forever. For 15 centuries, the games are lost in time, until 1896, when, at the center of Athens, a marble temple of sport is reborn. Inspired by the memories of what once was in the Valley of Olympia. 14 nations, 241 competitors are captured by the romance of history. And they come to write the opening chapter of a new mythology. A new age of athletes reminds the world of what marvels can be achieved in the merger of body and soul. Tonight in Athens, 202 nations, the world in full, assembled in a tenuous peace, have arrived at another starting line. 10,000 athletes have arrived to define themselves in games born here 28 centuries ago. To Greece has come Russia's enduring sports ballerina and seasoned teams already baptized by conquests over pain and the blaze of Syrian competition. To Greece has come America's Midwestern balance of power and grace. And the California Beach Dynasty uniting attractive opposites. And this last time, a vintage team flamed by her passion. In the sprints, the sign of the times is both familiar and fresh. In the marathon, first raced here 108 years ago, Athens awaits a woman from England faster than its men, and a man from Kenya keen to turn silver into gold. And for track's ultimate test, he carries an immigrant's indelible success story and a body classically complete. At the pool, the story may be told in plural, in multiples of medals, with the torpedo, whose dominance might turn the land down under upside down. With two whose winning smile. At the pool, the 19-year-old born in Baltimore has come to Greece for history's sake to put himself on a podium 8 times over. While 1,000 wars have flamed and burned, as our world has been shattered and remade, a call to a starting line yet remains, where the promise of competition glistens. Where, as it once was 2,780 years ago, athletes come to define themselves to an ancient dream of what we can become if we race toward greatness. Tonight, in Athens, Greece, the games come home again.
One of the signature monuments of Western civilization, the 2,500-year-old Parthenon atop the Acropolis. And from the Parthenon to the relatively new Olympic Stadium, remodeled at great cost and in daring style by the Spanish architect Santiago Calatrava. And so in the land where the Olympics were born and where they were restored, now in the year 2004, inside one of the first great stadiums of the 21st century, the Games return to their creators. Hello, everyone. I'm Bob Costas, and this, of course, is the Today Show's Katie Couric. It's great to be back with you again for the Olympic opening ceremony.
It's great to be here, our third opening ceremony.
Let's hope it's the charm the third time.
Absolutely. We want to mention, while we're having a major celebration tonight in Athens, our thoughts are with those in Florida who are having to deal with Hurricane Charlie.
Right.
Things are looking rough there, but things are looking fantastic here.
And they're warming up the crowd, warming up the crowd behind us, all the anticipation building.
It is packed, and the roof over our head, Bob, was emblematic of all the delays that took place here in Athens preparing for these Olympic Games. But as we can see, it's really a crowning achievement, and I guess it should be, since it cost about $220 million.
The delays and the costs, and that brings us to this point. Just how big is this night for Greece? 4 years ago, at the time of the last Summer Games, the International Olympic Committee was threatening to take these games away from Athens, fearing the Greeks were simply too far behind. And so this nation nearly squandered the chance to pay tribute to the event that's such a source of pride for them and that would permit them to show a new face to the world. But with a remarkable last-minute sprint, one, quite frankly, we'd been told to host the Summer Games in 50 years, appears now to be ready to welcome the world. 202 nations have come here, nearly 11,000 athletes. It's the biggest games ever, and now a worldwide audience of 4 billion will have its eyes on this city. And tonight, Katie, the first impression, the opening ceremony.
That's right. And tonight we marry sport and theater. And it's hard to imagine a nation better equipped. Greece is not just the birthplace of the Olympics, but also where drama was born long before Broadway, nearly 3,000 years ago. The show you're about to see is ambitious and original. We're going to take a colorful journey through time that links the story of Greece and these games to all of mankind. Some of the staging here, as could be expected, is bold and imaginative. Then comes the Parade of Nations, tonight presented in the order of the Greek alphabet, which puts St. Lucia first in the United States closer to the beginning than the end. Also of note, the presence of teams from Iraq and Afghanistan, each sending women to the Olympics for the very first time. North and South Korea are marching together again, and the United States will have the largest delegation here, some 536 in total. And with many promising young athletes, the American Olympic team has the potential to be one of the most successful ever.
Well, tonight's show, like these Olympics, did not come cheap. The escalating price tag could reach some $10 billion for the Olympics overall, and that's about $1,000 for each Greek citizen. So now there's concern about how Greece copes with this unanticipated expense after the games and their considerable afterglow are over with. One big reason for the bloated budget, the unprecedented security measures. And when we come back, Tom Brokaw will be with us to address that topic in detail. Our coverage of the 2004 Summer Olympics continues on a steamy night from Athens, Greece, after this.
The games of the 28th Olympiad on NBC are brought to you by Budweiser, proud sponsor of the 2004 U.S. Olympic team. By TIAA Kref Financial Services for the greater.
Not only is this a very, very good quality pendant, but you will also like it because it looks so beautiful on TV. Wait till you see this in person. It's not, again, it's not a big, ostentatious piece. It's a smaller piece. This would be great for a 16-year-old, maybe your grand.
Somewhere a place for us. Hold my hand. take you there somehow, someday, somewhere.
For those in the academic, medical, and cultural fields whose work serves the greater good, we serve you. TIAA-CREF, Financial Services for the greater good.
Athletes are here in Athens to compete in the pinnacle of sport, the Olympic Games, at a dangerous time in the world when terrorism is a constant threat. And for these games, security has been as much a part of the preparation as time trials and qualifying rounds, especially since the games are here in Greece, which one local official described as a convenient intersection in a bad neighborhood. But in the hours leading up to the opening ceremony this evening, officials monitoring the prospects of some kind of terrorist incident saw no signs of a spike in the threat level. And after some tough negotiations with the Greeks, American officials are satisfied they've got what they wanted. A great deal of the security that will be in place tonight here and around the region will be undercover and out of sight. In the meantime, the venues are ready, and Athens, all dressed up and ready for its big moment, seems to be working smoothly. I'm joined now by my colleague Robert Hager, who has been tracking the massive security preparations. Robert?
Tom, I'm right outside the main stadium here, and I've been walking around checking all the gates, and I can tell you, security's been tight, but there's so many metal detectors that there have been no long lines or delays. So that's one part of the huge $1.5 billion security net here. That's 5 times more than was spent on the Sydney Games, 15 times more than Atlanta. Intelligence analysts aren't expecting big trouble. They have no report of a specific threat. But an elite anti-terrorist assault team of Greek police showed us how it's trained for the worst. There are more than 70,000 Greek police and military on the front lines here at competition sites and elsewhere, backed up by smaller numbers of mostly invisible NATO and U.S. forces and equipment, far overhead, well off the coast and elsewhere, a presence carefully negotiated with the Greek government. AWACS planes scan for early warning of unauthorized aircraft. Patriot missiles on the ground in Athens point skyward. Frogmen are at the port, and ships offshore practicing. The head of the Athens Organizing Committee, Yana Angelopoulos Daskalaki.
From day number 1, security was our highest priority.
There are cameras everywhere, on street poles where it's said they can automatically swivel and zoom at the sound of a gunshot, or be operated by remote control from a command post miles away. Cameras also in helicopters, and omnipresent, this $2 million security blimp floating over Olympic sites. It too can peer down to streets below, close enough even to read a license plate. So officials here say they've done everything they can possibly do. Now they say it's in the hands of the gods, and I guess that'd be the Greek gods. Tom?
Thanks, Bob. A big concern for the security people are these occasions, this opening ceremony, which attracts big crowds and VIPs from around the world. But as one security official said this afternoon, we'll get through tonight and keep our guard up tomorrow and through the next 2 weeks, day by day. Bob and Katie will be back with the opening ceremony in a moment. But now this.
As you watch the beginning of the Olympics, there's another big event when it's over.
Ta-da!
Come on out tonight! The NBC new fall season starts Monday after the Olympics. All your favorite shows are back, including The Big Guy.
Did you miss me?
Then the premiere of NBC's newest shows. And the return of one of America's favorite faces.
Welcome to Hollywood Minute. I'm Name.
The NBC early premieres begin Monday, August 30th after the Olympics.
That made them very affordable. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if these were done in yellow and white or pink and white diamonds, this would be a priceless piece. We have these available in 2 different lengths, actually.
That we're not in harm's way again there.
Do you have a pearl of wisdom to share with folks who might be faced with similar predicament tomorrow morning?
Well, NBC affiliate is brought to you by Sony.
The countdown to the start of this opening ceremony is underway. These musicians are playing the Greek rhythm Zabekiko. The theme, the Greek rhythm, is integrated with the rhythm of the human heartbeat. This ceremony will be a celebration of Greek history and culture and a tribute to the Olympic Games, which tonight return home. Greek civilization dates back 5,000 years, and the history of the Greeks is integral to the story of global civilization. The beginnings of sophisticated concepts of philosophy, government, science, and the arts can all be traced to Greece, and the Greeks, of course, were the first to integrate sport into society in an organized and ritualized fashion.
In Salt Lake City, the stage was ice. The floor of this stadium covered with water. More than 500,000 gallons of it, in fact. There's a reservoir that's actually under the stadium where the water is stored. This symbolic, of course, of the Greek people's ties to the sea. We're traveling back to the ancient games held in Olympia, about 150 miles southwest of Athens, beginning in 776 BC. Two drummers, one in Olympia, one here in Athens, represent a bridge between the ancient and modern games.
The Olympics are most definitely home.
It's just a
sails across the water with a 9-year-old boy inside.
His name is Mihaly Patsapsis. I think your Greek is better than mine, Bob. But he was chosen from among hundreds of kids who tried out for this part. A huge soccer fan. He wants to play soccer someday, and I think he's in the right country to do so, isn't he?
They won the European Championship recently. The whole country went wild over that. Water, a big part of the ceremony. No part of Greece is more than 85 miles from the sea.
And a paper boat is a traditional and favorite childhood toy here in Greece.
The national colors of Greece are blue and white, reflected in its flag, and they say on windy days the flag's stripes resemble the Aegean Sea with its white caps visible from the shores. How many butterflies you think are fluttering through his little body right now?
He's so cute, but they've rehearsed this several times, so he's probably relieved the night has finally arrived and it's the real deal. In the center, here in Athens, we have the president of the Hellenic Republic, Konstantinos Kostas Stephanopoulos. His role is largely ceremonial. To his left, Jacques Roga, president of the International Olympic Committee. He is from Belgium, a former Olympic sailor. This is the first Summer Games that he is presiding over.
And with them, Yana Angelopoulos Daskalaki, the president of the Athens Olympic Organizing Committee, first woman ever to head an Olympic Organizing Committee. When the Greeks didn't get the Centennial Games of 1996, which perhaps complacently they thought of as their right, they were bitterly disappointed. Then Yana spearheaded the effort that won the 04 Games for Greece back in '97. After they got the Games, she was replaced by a different group, and then, incredibly, for 3 years, nothing, zip, was done. Then the IOC threatened to move the Games, yank them from Greece, and Yana was brought back, and it's her energy and direction that pretty much saved the Games for Greece. Even so, as the preparations lagged, much of the world remained skeptical, but now the venues and the infrastructure improvements have come together. Many of us who visited Athens prior to the Games close to amazed by the extent of the transformation in just the past few months, and now the young 9-year-old boy greeted by the dignitaries. This is Yana's moment. New highway system here, new light rail system, new tram, new airport. 35 new Olympic venues. This is a triumph as much for her personally as for the Greek nation, assuming that this is the beginning of a successful 2 weeks plus.
The Greek national anthem.